Hi, this is James Aim with Full Capital, and I'm here with Tony Cerda of SAS. Tony, thanks for joining me in the nice Texas heat that we got this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for having me. We're just baking over here in little old Dallas, so it's great to be on.
Well, Tony, give people a little bit of your background and then get into SAS and what they do.
Yeah, so I've been in the water conservation industry for a little over 6 years now, and over the last 4 years, I've been focused on multifamily housing and student housing, and reducing water and sewer expenses. So it's been quite a journey, especially going through many different markets. But yeah, I'm part of a group called SAS Sustainability Solutions, where based out of Dallas, but we work nationwide, and we do exactly what I've been doing for the past 7 years, trying to reduce water and sewer consumption and expenses for multifamily owners.
So pretend I've never looked at a multifamily property,
Yeah.
and now I just bought a 50-unit property. Why do I need to engage you?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Well, James, do you like improving NOI and cash flow at your properties?
That's why I bought this property, to do that exact
Ex-
thing.
Exactly. So, the reason why you would reach out to a group like us here at SAS is because we do exactly that. Our goal is to improve your NOI and asset value at your properties. And one of the quickest ways to do that is to reduce your utility expenses. So pretty much what we would do is, if you're submitting an LOI on a property, if you're under contract on a property, or you just have a property that has extremely high water and sewer expenses, you would just reach out to the team here at SAS, and we're going to take a look at your T12 to see what your historical expenses are at the property, what your water usage rates are, what that looks like, and then we're going to prepare a comprehensive conservative estimate to get an idea of how we can benefit your property in reducing expenses. So of course, utilities are one of the biggest expenses, I would say, at properties, and ones that you have very little control on, because of course tenants need to take a shower and use the restrooms. But the key is to having the most efficient products at your property that aren't going to lead to higher inefficiencies in usage, right? Products that lower deferred maintenance, so you're not replacing and repairing a bunch of items, and products that are going to make sure that your consumption is staying at a consistent low volume.
So I'm gonna open up your website here.
Sure.
So maybe talk about, let's say, all right, I buy the property, I engage you guys. What do you guys do now?
Yeah, so you engage us. We take a look at your property, take a look at the history, like I was just mentioning, and then we're going to prepare a preliminary conservative estimate that's going to break down exactly what we're going to put on your property, as well as what you should expect on your annual savings and asset value creation. From there, we do our full assessment of a property, where we're going to go into every single unit and mark down every bathroom fixture flow rate. We're going to take a look at any front of the wall leaks and mark that down for you. And we're also going to identify any potential installation challenges that we will identify before we even start install, so we could hit that 50 to 70 bathroom installation or removal per day. So you'll get a full comprehensive report. You'll get an updated estimate based on the data that we collect, so we're not guessing on what's at your property. And then of course we go to the second step, which is our installation, which is turnkey. We handle the removal of the old products. We install 50 to 70 bathrooms per day. We have on-site QC teams to make sure that all the products are functioning as they are supposed to. And then of course the monitoring aspect, after a project is completed, we're going to want to see what the next 3 months of water bills look like, and we're going to compare it to before the installation to see what that reduction was on both the gallons usage as well as the financial savings. So, our goal here is to under promise and over deliver. And, the best thing to see is when I take a look at those pre and post installation bills, is seeing how much water we actually save on properties. And again, we take that conservative approach. So more often than not, the numbers are very, exciting to see.
Do you have, I know this is like when people call me and they're like, what's the interest rate? And I'm like, well, it depends. No, no, no. I just want an interest rate. So when you're looking at these sort of three stages, right? Um,
Mhm.
like what is the approximate cost sort of as you move through these steps?
Yeah, so of course, our preliminary estimates. So when you're submitting an offer, or you have a deal under contract, or own a property, and you're looking for ways to reduce utility expenses, that is no cost at all, and we give unlimited support for any multifamily owner looking, to see how can we improve NOI on our property using a utility reduction strategy. So that's absolutely free. We'll do that every single day of the week for any multifamily property owner. When we get to the next stage, when we have an executed installation agreement and we mobilize our full assessment, we base our pricing per kit. So our standard pricing is $350 per bathroom, but that also includes the full assessment with a comprehensive data package, as well as an updated estimate based on the data collected, and also all the products that we utilize, the toilets, shower heads, and aerators, as well as the installation removal of all those products. So in a kit cost, it's $350 per bathroom. And of course, the monitoring is free. Just send over the bill. That we'll take care of that for you.
$350 sounds like a steal. I don't think I can get anyone to come out to my house for $350 to do anything. So I appreciate that. And then you guys said 50 to 70 bathrooms a day.
Yeah, 50 to 70
Yeah.
bathrooms a day.
Okay.
I call it a CrossFit workout because you got those 90-pound toilets and you're going up and down those stairs. So, our guys, they specifically just do this type of work. So, James, if you're interested in a fitness program, we can always put you on
And
the
a
team.
part-time
So,
and a part-time gig. Let Tony know
yeah,
if you're interested in a part-time gig, lifting some extra weights. Let's
don't worry,
so
there's
let's
no
flip.
subscription involved in that one.
Let's flip over. So on your website, you have a couple of case studies. I think you mentioned one of these that you worked on personally. So maybe let's just jump into this one and tell us about this deal in New York.
Yeah, so this was actually one of my first multifamily student housing deals when I first started about 4 years ago, after we did Harvard University. And this client, they were just having major issues with their water and sewer expenses, and of course, being in New York City, water is very expensive. So they reached out to us so we could help assist them, and reduce their water and sewer expenses, and also identify what they have at the property. So, what we found is that their toilets were using an average of 2.89 gallons per flush. So, very inefficient. Those toilets have been there since the 80s. So, when the property was constructed, and we did the similar readings for their shower heads and aerators, and we came up with a strategy for that property. Of course, when during the spring break for that school property, where we identified, hey, these are what the flow rates are. This is what we're going to replace it with. This is how much you're going to save, which I believe, our initial estimate had them saving around $60,000 per year in water and sewer expenses. So, we went forward, we installed this property in about 4 business days. And after reviewing their water and sewer expenses and seeing what consumption looked like, they actually saved north of $71,000 in their first year. So their return on investment was 1 year. So it was one of the quickest, return on investment value add projects that they did at this property. Of course, they did some LED lighting there as well, and a couple of other items. But they were very happy. Of course, what they saw on their cash flow there.
So people sort of want to get started. Obviously, start with the assessment. If that looks good,
Mhm.
then do the install and then monitor it from there. You
Yeah.
know, is there anything else that other apartment investors should know, sort of about your process, about
Mhm.
sort of what differentiates you guys from, let's say, like my handyman or my maintenance guy going to Home Depot, buying some toilets and installing them
Yeah.
over the next year. I'm sure you've seen that before. But what sort of the key differentiators there?
Yeah, so the value of partnering up with a group like SAS, there's a couple of items. I mean, the first item, and we've definitely heard this before, where there's a multifamily property owner who said, "Hey, I could, do this project cheaper, and I could do it with our on-site maintenance team. No problem, right?" Well, what we see happen with that is that, you have a 200 unit property that, of course, you can do a little bit cheaper using your on-site teams, but the problem is they're not doing 50 to 70 bathrooms a day. So that 200 unit property, if they're lucky, are doing 5 bathrooms a month. So, to create real impact for your property and to really improve your NOI and asset value, knocking out a project like a 200 unit property in about 4 to 5 business days, you'll see those savings immediately and you'll see that improvement immediately. So, that is one thing I do want to mention of the value of having a partner that is not only going to install as efficiently as us, but also just being your partner and really analyzing your property and understanding how we can positively influence your utility expenses. And of course, be there for you after the project, because the second point here is, of course, utility rates are increasing all across the country. I mean, we're right now, especially in Texas, in a little bit of a drought state, right, where we haven't had rain in probably about a month and a half. So water rates are still, of course, are going to increase. I believe the national average is about 2 or 3% a year. But if you have a property in Houston, they're raising their water and sewer rates 78% by all the way to 2026. And to put this in context with you, when I first started, moved down here in Dallas about 2.5 years ago, water and sewer per 1,000 gallons for Houston was about $10.50. Right now, it's $15 per 1,000 gallons, which is a huge impact to multifamily properties, especially if they have inefficient fixtures, because the more occupancy you have at a property is the more people are going to use their restrooms, the more they're going to wash their dishes, take showers. So that will creep up on your expense report, and not hedging that now, what will prove to be costly. So I would say those are the couple differentiators that we do here at SAS, as well as just doing that full assessment as well, because not too many other groups are going to walk every single unit and want to know what is going on there.
Well, Tony, I know you've been at a couple of our conferences over the last 4 or 5 years. Is there any conference memory that stands out to you, or I mean, you go to a lot of events, anything that differentiates the World Capital Conference from some of the other ones out there?
Yeah, so I mean, I would say the one that was most remarkable for me was the one you guys had at the Texas Ranger Stadium. I mean, number one, super cool to be on the field on that new stadium. I mean, that was unbelievable. Taking a picture with Pudge Rodriguez. I mean, where else are you going to get that? And also hear his knowledge when he went on stage and explained his journey into multifamily, and and also just, of course, the networking. You're having a lot of big players at the Old Capital Conference. You guys do a great job with attendance, and we know there's going to be a ton of value every time we go there, because there's going to be people there that we haven't met before, and we've been trying to get in touch with and partner up with them. So yeah.
Well, we appreciate you sponsoring the event, and we will see you in September live and in person. So I appreciate you coming on to share a little bit about the process and what you guys do, and definitely reach out to Tony if you guys have anything immediately that you need, and then say hi to him at the conference.
Sounds good. Thank you, James. I appreciate it. See everyone at the conference.
All right. Thanks, Tony.